Welcome back to Sports Day. We're here for Red Energy and the new Kia Niro, the electric SUV range, which has now landed. Sam McClure and Jimmy Bartell with you, and it's with great privilege that we are joined live by one of Australia's greatest ever jockeys in Glenn Boss. Glenn, it's always a special weekend, the Cox Plate. I'm sure it holds a special place in your heart, but it's bittersweet, I can only imagine, for you this time round, given what happened to the great Sir Dragonet. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, guys. How are you all?
We're good.
That's good. Yeah, no, it's isn't it bittersweet? Like a week ago, you're thinking about defending your title, and like that colt was Sir Dragonet was trending in the right direction, and you're thinking that you're excited about getting down here and thinking that you might be able to hold another Cox Plate, but unfortunately, the nature of the game that we're in, in sport in general, right? There's injuries that can occur, and unfortunately it was the biggest injury that a horse can have, and he's going to be sadly missed.
Glenn, Jimmy Bartell here. I love hearing your thoughts on all the big races. You've ridden legends, you've ridden everywhere possible. What makes the Cox Plate so different and so intriguing from a jockey's point of view?
Oh, Jimmy, it's a combination of so many things. Mooney the Valley it's a unique piece of real estate, and where it sits, you sit up there and you look down at this Melbourne skyscraper, and and the intricate part of that track. It's tight, it's turning, it's going down, it's up. It's a real thinking jockey's track, and that's why I love it. It's it really keeps you on your toes, and when you go through the history of this race, and I'm a real history buffer. It's sort of like there's only champions win this race, and what I'm saying is, generally, there's about 50% of the winners of this race are the favourites, so they're very well found. They're the good horses that win. So it's just such an amazing event, and obviously, you get that crazy crowd on the day, and they're on top of you, and 20 or 30,000 feels like 120,000 because they're just all on top of you. So it's just a unique atmosphere.
Glenn, Sam and I think we're pretty much experts in racing.
Of course.
We love to watch it. And you hear from other racetracks, Flemington, the Clock Tower, different racetracks and races. If you're in this position, you're the best chance to win, or if you're in that position, you're no chance. Anything like that happen at the Valley? When we watch the race, if we see Very Elegant, Animo, Zaki, if they're in a certain position, are we going tick, that's a win, or put a line through them? Yeah.
When you watch this race, and I've watched hundreds of them, it's generally the last horse off the bridle. And what I mean, it's the one that's travelling, the last one that looks like he's still got a little bit of a kick left. That's generally the winner. And like this year's race is obviously going to be a great rendition. I think there's a few sort of question marks, and a few things will be answered on the day. You've obviously got the raging favourite. Coming off what was I know we expect him to win all the time, but it just looked a bit below standard last start in Zaki, and then you have Very Elegant doing exactly the same thing. You've got Gold Trip now; he's got a little bit of an injury cloud over him, I believe, and and then you've got this wonderful 3-year-old Animo. Like they get into this race with ridiculously 49.5, and he looks like the best 3-year-old that we've seen actually run in the Cox Plate for quite a while. So it's going to be a fascinating contest.
How do you think the speed will play out in this race? I reckon it's one of the more interesting questions for this Cox Plate in particular. Glenn, who do you expect to go to the front?
Zaki. I think Captive will be right there from barrier 1. He'll kick up and hold a spot, but James knows his horse like nobody else.
Yep.
And he understands that this horse you've actually got to let him use his stride. What I'm saying is you've just got to let him get into his rhythm. And his history will say for this horse, in his short history that he's been in Australia, that the faster the run race, and whether that's him making the speed, but the faster and stronger the race is run, he just seems to get better. He must have an amazing heart score and aerobic capacity, this horse. So, he was last start ridden in a 1-1 position in a tricky affair where they went slow and it's a sprint, and it just never suited him at all.
Bossy, Flemington Carnival and your plans for the next few weeks, what are we keeping an eye on that you're on board?
I'm starting from scratch at the moment. My whole spring got turned on its head a couple of months ago. I should have been down here 2 months ago, unfortunately, but due to the restrictions and the COVID, all that stuff, they put turn on there. But no, listen, I'm down here for good now, boys. I'm back home, and I'm staying in Melbourne for good now. We considered Melbourne our home. My wife and I, because my kids live here. We're back here for good. Looking far beyond the spring, to be honest.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to seeing you in the spring and what comes of the autumn as well. Hey, Bossy, we had Greg Carpenter on last night, had a fascinating chat around weights, in a lot of the big races, particularly the Melbourne Cup. And we always go back to 03, 4 and 5 with Maccabi Diva, and I just shake my head still that you're on board Maccabi Diva carrying 58 kilos and still able to do what that amazing horse was able to. But since then, no one's really been able to go near carrying any sort of great weight. And we see what the penalty to incentivise is. How hard is it for a horse to carry anything more than 56 and a half, 57 and run the 3,200 better than anyone else?
Yeah, well, what it is, it's relative to what's the horses are down the bottom and what form they're in. And I think this year is going to be a different year. Obviously, there's not many internationals coming this year. As you've seen with the Caulfield Cup, obviously the winner's very good. But when you go beyond the winner, they're nice horses, but they're no stars. So we're going to have we're going to have much the same thing in the Melbourne Cup now. Incentivise as listening to Star, there's no doubt he's a very good horse. But he's going to meet what I'd consider a near superstar in Spanish Mission on level weights. Now, this horse brings Stradivarius form to Australia, and tested Stradivarius on several occasions. Now, that horse, if Stradivarius was here, he would be the shortest price favourite we'd ever seen in a Melbourne Cup, and he would win easily. There's no doubt. So the long answer to your question is that I think it's going to be a bit of a top weights race this year, because I think that's where the class is. Horses like Spanish Mission, obviously Incentivise, he's going to be hard to beat again. Very elegant, don't knock her. She ran amazingly last year. These type of horses, I think, because when you look down the bottom, I just can't see the winner coming from down there, to be honest.
Bossy, great to have you on. It's great to have you back home where you belong as well. And I'm sure it's been a crazy ride with COVID, as it has been for so many people. We're looking forward to watching you over the next couple of months. Thanks so much for coming on.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your support.
Glenn Boss there, champion jockey. Obviously coming home a little later than he would have expected. He's got Sharper in race 7. This is on Cox Plate Saturday. All Hallows Eye in race 10 as well. And, of course, would have had Sir Dragonet going for 2 in a row. And
Bossy, again, touched on it there. There's some question marks on a couple of horses. Call Sign Mav is the other one. It's getting vet checked along with
Gold Trip.
And Gold Trip.
So 2 of the internationals who you'd think that, these are the unknown. And State of Rest, who, for me, comes with form that always makes your eyes go up, because I always worry about these ones that we haven't seen. And State of Rest, this Irish galloper who his last start won a Grade 1 Saratoga Derby over, 1,900 metres. He's got a really good turn of foot, and I think Zaki absolutely deserves to be the red-hot favourite. But as Bossy said, Cox Plates are weird races.
It was so fascinating how he unpicked it. The last one to let down.
Last one off the bridle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Usually wins.
One with a little bit more in the tank.